Hey guys, it's me, Julia. How are you all? Happy Thursday. It is Thursday evening on the East Coast. I'm here in Ocean City, Maryland still. I was letting you guys know that I was in this little resort town. Well, it's kind of a big resort town here on the East Coast of the United States. And I'm so excited to be with you today. I know it's hard to read my name tag, so I'm going to show you all. I am Julia with Euphoria. It has been an amazing day. The weather has been beautiful. Everybody's been in an amazing mood. It's just been a great place to be. And today I wanted to share a really great how to with you that a lot of people ask me about. And I usually go through a step by step, longer, maybe 45-minute presentation, but I'm going to really tighten this up, make it a quick training so that it would make a lot of sense to you guys. And it is specifically on how to share information with cold leads. Now, in this case, what I'm speaking about is sharing this information through text and through email. So, two different channels, both text and email. But it seems to me that this would work just as well, philosophically anyway, on social media or through phone calls or through snail mail as well. So, really, this is kind of a conceptual, this is how I would do it, regardless of what your product or service is. So, the concept is initially to spoon feed small amounts of information to your cold prospects over an extended period of time. So the things that you need, the criteria that you need for that is you need a large number of people to be reaching out to cold leads, maybe a list or people you've met at events and things like that. So you need a group of people. You're also going to need a way to share the information. Now, I use email and I also use the text messaging platform MindMe, which I'm more than happy to show everybody how I use that. And I have some training videos out there on that. I think it's an amazing product. So I use text and I use email. I also call people. I also use social media. So I like to share information through social media. That works really well. But the idea is to share very small bits of information over an extended period of time. And really, that the second thing that you're going to need is, well, actually, the first thing you need is a list. The second thing you need is how you're going to share this information. And the third thing that you need is you need to be able to share a lot of value added information with people over this period of time. So, what I do, I'm just going to say a brief aside on that piece, is that I keep a running list of ideas for things to share and for data points and things like that in my tool Google Keep. So I talked about that once before. I can share that with you guys again, how I use that. But I always have a running list of ideas that I want to share with people. But just to go back to the initial concept of how do I share this information, let me run you through the basics of what I do. All I'm thinking of is the who, what, where, when, why, and how. That's right, of the product or the service that I'm sharing. So the first is the who. Who am I talking to and who am I not talking to? Because sometimes it's more intriguing and more interesting to say, if you don't want this, if you're not this person, if this doesn't apply to you in any way, then stop listening because this is not for you. So the idea of who this is for and who this isn't for. So really, I just want to kind of remind you that this is where you really need to have your target market defined and where you might have your avatar really well written down, projected out exactly who you're talking to, what you're saying to him, to her, to them, to the company that you want to speak to, exactly who that person is and who they aren't. Because remember, niche marketing is really where it's at these days, and it actually makes your sales cycle shorter the more clear you are on who you're speaking to. What? So, what is it that you are selling or sharing is really important. I know that you know that, but really what I mean is, what is the benefit of what you're selling, right? So it's not so much what it is. So, okay, I sell cars. Okay, I sell ice cream cones. It isn't really the ice cream cone or the car, right? It's the benefit of the ice cream cone or the car. I get you places you want to go. I put smiles on kids' faces, that kind of thing, right? So it's really the benefit, what it is that you're going to provide with your product or service. So have that written down. Where to get more information. I had to look at my notes there, guys. I've written notes down for all of this. Where can they get additional information? So what is your website? What is your Wikipedia page? Where on Facebook can they find more data? Where can they engage and relate with you so that they can actually get more information? So for instance, Euphoria, the product that I like to talk about a lot, not only do I have a Euphoria website, and not only do I have a Mind Me text begin to 26786, which will feed information to people who want to learn, but I also have information on Facebook. I have some great testimonials pages. That's where they can get more information. Who, what, where, when. When, you're probably wondering, when did they get the, no. When did this become important? When did the need for this product or service arise? When is the appropriate time that this is going to become valuable to your prospect? So for instance, in the case of a car, when is this really important for them? Well, it's when they're figuring out how they're going to get to and from work. Maybe they got a new job, or when their old vehicle was no longer usable, or when someone else in the family needed another vehicle. Maybe somebody got their driver's license and we need to have another vehicle. In the case of Euphoria, when did this become important? Well, for me, it became important when my husband had a health incident, and when I had a health incident, it became immediately important that I needed to have better nutrition. So that talks about when. Who, what, where, when. Okay, why? Why there is a need. Why this is important to your target. Why is your product or service important? So if you sell wine, why is wine important to your prospect? Well, maybe they have a lot of parties or corporate events. Maybe they have fine dining establishment and they need to have wine that pairs nicely with their excellent food, that kind of thing. Why would someone need hotel rooms, sleeping rooms? Like for instance, I'm staying in a hotel right now, right? So why would hotel rooms be important? Well, if there's conventions around, if people want to travel or have vacations, they need to have sleeping rooms. That's why it's important. And this is the last thing, the how, right? So there's how to get more information, and there's how to get your product or service. And we always want to be reminding people, okay, we've gone through all of this information. Now the next step is how to get started, or how do we begin the process of you purchasing this product or service? That's the how. How do we get this to you, right? So when I'm planning a lot of these email campaigns or these phone call campaigns or texting campaigns, I'm actually looking at several different ways to share each one of these different topics, right? Mostly I'm focusing on what is the benefit and what are the multiple benefits. So for instance, in the case of the client that I have, that might be a security company, right? In the case of the security company, there are lots of benefits and there are lots of occasions where having a security system would be important. In the case of Euphoria, what would be the importance of that? I have a lot of different pieces of data, resources, or tools to share over a long period of time. And that makes it easier to share information and spoon feed it to your cold prospect. Now, why is this so important? Why do I think this is so necessary to share with everybody? Because the number one issue is not knowing exactly how much or how little information to share with a cold prospect to keep them engaged and interested, and then to bring them through to actually making a purchase. So once you have this plan in place, you can really see how you can fit all of your data into these different categories and how you can give that information to people so that you're really touching on all of these things over and over and over again, and you're making it interesting and changing things up. I appreciate you watching. I love that you were here with me this evening. Thank you so much. If you have questions about what I've just shared or any of the other material that I've shared with you, please let me know. Please reach out. If you have other questions or other things that you'd like for me to share with you, which is exactly how this came about this evening. Someone asked me to share this information. Please let me know, because I would love to be able to share more information with everyone. And you guys have an awesome evening. Have a great weekend too.